sizes of rope. We have small, medium, and large. Small, medium, like you were going to McDonald's. Small, medium, and large. Small being the Happy Meal size. Unfortunately, my Happy Meal does not come with a prize, unless you count rope as a. They don't count rope as a prize, apparently. No. Not a very good prize. How many of you here, by round of applause, my first illusion of the night, how many here, by round of applause, have been hypnotized? How many of you are still hypnotized currently? Because the blank stares on your faces, I'm going with all of you. That's something, I don't know what that is. Yes, 3 pieces of rope. I'm going to convince you all that these 3 ropes, even though they're unequal now, they will become equal in length. They'll all be the same size. But now for the older kids in the audience, this is a logic problem, so listen closely. Logic, yes? Think about this, right? If all 6 ends were equal, all 3 ropes must be the same size, yes?
Yes.
Yes. No, that's rubbish. It doesn't work.
Everything.
And I'll show you why. It sounds good, but it doesn't work. I'll show you why. All 6 ends must be equal, right? So if I made all 6 ends equal, it would look like this. I just bring them up into my hands like this. All 6 ends being equal, all the same size. Of course not, because the middles are a problem. But I did figure out if you give the ropes just a bit of a, if you give them a bit of a squeeze, you can actually cause all 3 ropes to really appear to be the same length. That's one. That's okay, you don't have to. Oh, thank you for applauding. Sometimes I feel like I'm just up here for myself. Tell you what, the 3 rope trick was a bit confusing, and I understand. So I'll do the trick with just 2 ropes. And in fact, I'll explain how the trick works. I'll illustrate in schematic fashion. End A, opposite of end A would be end B. End C, and opposite of end C would be end D. If you take end B, place it up next to end C. Take end D, place it up next to end A. This creates 2 brand new, never before heard of letters of the alphabet called E and F. They've actually been heard of before, so they just weren't being used here. But E and F, if you take E and F and you place them over the right wrist, this creates what we call a mess. That's what it creates, right? But the important thing here to remember is it's the click that does the trick. That's very important to remember. Click does the trick. When you click your fingers like this, you can do the trick with just 1 rope. Thank you. Not bad to start out with. Not great. But I tell you what, for those of you that are in the back, I'll give you a bit of a hint on how this is going to work. If you see something that you like, I'll need you to applaud. And if you're not sure when to applaud, I'll give you a bit of an applause cue that will look like this. When I do this, oh, thank you. Yes. Your person to applaud. That's good. It's not spontaneous, but at least it'll be thunderous, yeah? So we'll try it over here. Not bad. I think this side's going to do a bit better. And the center. I really didn't think the center would go for it. I really didn't. But you did very well. I appreciate it. The next trick I'm going to show you guys is a switch. Magicians are fascinated with this concept of transposition of 2 objects in plain view. Namely, in this case, the end and the middle of the rope. I'm going to cause the ends that are in my left hand to exchange places with the middle in my right. And in full view. It's going to look like this. See how they switch? They switch. Yeah, no. Don't go for that. That's terrible. I tell you what, that's not good enough for you guys, so I'm going to make this a bit better by isolating the end inside of the pocket. Placing the ends of the rope inside the trouser pocket. That leaves the middle of the rope in full view. Here's what's going to happen. The middle that is in my hand will exchange places for the ends that are now in the pocket. What that means is, in a moment, the ends will be in my hand and the middle will be in the pocket, and it looks like this. I take the left hand, I show it empty, doesn't do anything for the trick, it just kills some time, yeah? But I show it empty, I wave it over the middle of the rope, and the ends that were in the pocket are now in my hand, and the middle of the one in my hand is now in my pocket. Ooh, thank you. I can tell that the one rope trick sometimes is a bit confusing, so I did bring some extra ends to further illustrate what I'm doing. And if you take the extra ends and you wrap them around the long rope, you can do something really cool. You can actually push the extra end back into the rope, and it looks like this. Watch close.
Dad, no.
You notice that the extra end starts to get smaller. It goes back into the rope, and it even looks good like this too. And that gives you this little knot that's here at the top, and if you undo that knot, you get the rope. I'll do that. I'll go for it. I know some of you didn't know exactly what just happened there, so I tell you what, I'll give you a trick. I'll give you a free trick that you can take home with you. For your friends and family, you can play nightclub in your own home. Absolutely. And here's the way that the trick is going to work. You have to go home and you have to get a bit of rope. You could use a shoelace for this. A shoelace works perfectly well for this. This is important. You need to cut the plastic ends of the shoelace off. That's very important to cut the plastic ends of the shoelace. You should use real scissors. That's important too, otherwise it takes forever to do it this way. It's very important to get the plastic ends off, because if you don't cut the plastic ends off and you jab one into your hand, that will hurt. So don't do that. I should mention, don't jab the scissors into your hand, that hurts worse. So probably for the children, get parental supervision for this trick. Here's what you have to do. You take the middle of the shoelace after you've cut the plastic ends off, and you put away the scissors. That's important as well. Take the middle of the rope and you just bring it up into your hand in what we call the magic gesture. And the magic gesture looks like this. You've seen magicians do this before, where they do this with a length of rope, perhaps. Yeah? And what that does, if you just do it right, you can get an extra end. So that will give you 3 ends and 1 middle. 3 ends and 1 middle. If you weren't here in the beginning, this is not normal. This is not normal for... Or maybe for you it is normal for us. I don't know. We'll try it again. The magic gesture, and you get 4 ends and 1 middle. 4 ends. Oh, thank you. In fact, I can do the trick with 2 ropes. It's not quite as good as the 4 ends and 1 middle, but the 2... Okay, not really into the 2 rope trick. I think the 3 rope trick, like in the beginning, we'll do the 3 rope trick like we had in the beginning. Remember in the beginning we had the 3 rope trick? Yep. Remember? And the ropes were all the same size. Remember? I just lied to you. They weren't the same size, were they? They were all different sizes. In fact, I even taught them, if you weren't here in the beginning, I taught you how to do the trick. What you have to do is you have to label the ends. End A, end B, C, D, E, and F. If you take end B, place it up next to end E. Place end F up next to end C, and this one I believe goes up next to that one. I don't remember. I do remember it created a mess though, didn't it? Right? And then we did the click that does the trick. Remember that part? We did a click that does the... I tell you what, I'll just start over in the beginning when I had a small piece of rope, a medium-sized piece of rope, a really long piece of rope,